Attention gamers, everyone who plays League of Legends gets stuck with that one god-awful piss-ridden dog water drinking teammate born with Summoner's Rift suicidal tendencies from time to time, but players deal with it in different ways. Some do nothing at all while others verbally harass the feeder, others report the enemy walking ATM after the game, but I am different. I spend a weekend editing every clip from the game I'm stuck with them, displaying all of their inbred inting things they do that are common among the morons who play their champ, and today, we are going to talk about Ezreal Syndrome. Symptoms of which include having a flash built into your kit on a 15 seconds cooldown but still playing the early game like a capital P pussy. Playing a champ with all skill shots while lacking anything that resembles any form of accuracy as a player. Relying on a quote-unquote stacking scaling build only to do nothing more than tickle tanks and super minions. Using your E to dash into danger especially after landing a W, sending celeb shots all over the map as little lottery tickets instead of saving your ult for when it will actually do something, and just generally looking like a blind drunk idiot when you do anything at all on a skill shot based champ until you manage to go 0-14 on a champ with more escape than the king of Tarkov himself. And today, we're gonna watch him ruin one of my games, so if you enjoy this series and want more, please politely abuse my sub button and let's get into the way I cope with brain dead animals on my teams. Now for context, I was playing AP Gragas. This diabetic beer dealer's been rocking gross win rates, and I always just follow the strategy of locking in Riot's most broken champ every game, winning, then doing it again. I would call it rinse, repeat, GG, but turns out that's already taken. Repeat.gg is actually an easy way for gamers to make money, and they offered to pay me some just to tell you about it. It's not something you download, but rather just a website that tracks your in-game stats and offers you incentives for doing well in your games. It's owned by PlayStation but supports tons of platforms and games like this piss pit we are all addicted to. For League of Legends, it offers tournaments where you compete by playing ranked games on your own account. No downloads or other BS necessary, you just sign up and then link your League of Legends account and bam, you can start signing up for tournaments that reward flat cash to 30 to 40% of people who participate in them. Scoring is based on how you perform in game, with small differences in each tournament like added rules like only allowing certain champs and other cool challenges. Close to $100,000 is getting paid out to normie gamers every month on repeat at zero cost to its users, so check my link in the description to try it out today and start adding an extra element of fun and income to your league games. Now, as I mentioned, I was playing Barley and my teeth sleep with my sister Gragas, and my first order of business was to let the guy who gangs up on planks to know that I want to touch bellies, but it wasn't quite enough for me to nut, and then of course Cosmic Bowling Alley Kane has to come in thinking he's gonna save the day, but here's the thing. I don't carry around a keg of moonshine to not make constant questionable decisions, so I let Christopher Columbus discover his own base, and then I make like a fat titty on a roller coaster and bounce, celebrating with a quick swig on the way out. But boy oh boy, do we need to introduce this particular retail pharmacist Ezreal, who's playing 4 screens back from his wave, failing to aim his Qs at stationary NPCs, all in fear of getting hooked, which he indeed does right away, and so right off the bat he's already relying on summoner spells and bard urine bongs to keep him alive, but at least he has a plan. And that plan is to bait that blitz into a hook and aim a Q like he's had 6 too many to drink, which would have killed the dude right after. Meanwhile, I run mid with Bard to see if this Viego wants some buckwheat shoved up his shithole, but he goes skinny dipping in the stealth stream, so I begin to piss off, only for him to immediately come back in and put on a wild demonstration of why Riot August must be giving the balance team at Riot some stellar rub tugs in the break rooms, if you're smelling what I'm stepping in. But bald devs are the least of my worries when this blonde dental hygienist is over here dodging his own personal demons while the blitz just flat out walks up to him, requests he jumps, and then lets Kate send him back to base. Turns out I was in town to witness this next failure, so when he welcomed a warm handshake I came in supplying as much alcohol as I could hold, thinking the people who have to interact with this little shit all game deserve to drown their sorrows in some purple slurps, and just when I think we have them red-handed, limp willies in hand, guess who decides it's time to walk in a straight line back at the Disney NASCAR character that keeps killing him, and by the time my fat fucking ass wobbles back over there everyone has left already. Anyways, I'm heading back up mid because Reaper Randy and our Talon are about to show all the ways walls get disrespected in this game in 2023, so I pregame with my grape White Claw and then body that bitch and headbutt him a few times until he eventually passes out. The twinkle shit is now playing a game of, why would this low health support be acting like he wants to fight me, with the correct answer being because 2 cold-blooded murderers are waiting fully erect to hop over and do dirty things to you, you dope. And while that blitz may have baited him, I am adamant on defending my title of the masturbator, so I make Clash Day Kanye think I'm just delusional and that this is a one-on-one date just to set him up with the CEO of Beyblade to come in with an equal amount of excitement to parkour walls as the fluorescent feeder and then kill him off. But ophthalmologist Ezreal is alone with the chick Vi tried to turn lesbian in Arcane, and I know he's gonna lose that, so I come and watch him launch a W into the wrong time zone and then forcefully request that she lather some sunscreen onto my belly before I drop the keg on her face and send her home. I'm now 2-0-2, which is deceiving because I have about as much experience on this champ as my pet goldfish does with jerking off, as I get knocked up more than a 2-cent whore on a corner, which eliminates any dragon steal opportunities, and then I display a silver amount of synergy with my bard right after. But guess who has 2 thumbs, a keg that rolls like a bowl ball and likes giving robots chest bumps? This guy. So I couldn't get cake, but I get it. Not everyone is into 400-pound hillbillies, and I respect that, but I don't need Blue Buff's consent to adopt him when I know what's best for him. So despite Blitz saying he would be the better father, I'm determined to get custody, which I did, and might I add that I immediately proved that I would take good. They are now knocking at Tier 2 Towie's door like it might buy Girl Scout cookies from them, so I figure maybe this dumb shit Ezreal just needs to see how a real pro fights. But he decides to call my failure at that statue, and raise me another failure at that statue right after. So at this point Viego is running rampant, getting so fed I can already see myself tweeting something passive aggressive at Riot August later, but I draw the line when he sets his eyes on Bard, because if Bard dies I'll have no one to fill in for me as Santa Claus in the mall on days that I get too drunk, so belly bop that bitch to save my thirsty Thursdays from getting in the way of my Friday morning shifts, you feel me? Then I'm like, hey guys, I know we just got an objective, but this is silver, so you know what they say, it's never too late to fight over that objective. So we dive deeper than Mark Cuban's pockets, because League may be a MOBA to many, but it's goddamn team deathmatch to me, and I want to see how much damage my keg smashers are doing. So we get the double and then we overstay as if this is a Mr. Beast video, and last person to leave the enemy forest gets a fucking planet. But what I'm quickly starting to realize is that when Ezreal isn't around, we can actually get away with doing dumb stuff like this. But speak of the dumbass devil, he does join the party just after the party ended, and the only people who are there also want him dead. He's getting flamed by my other coworkers while replying like he's an e-girl with a typing lisp, which is on par with Ezreal Syndrome, but I'm thinking we all have to put our differences aside or we will lose to Riot August shower thoughts until I do half his health with a single ult. The team is all like, let's get on the focus targets, and I'm like, you do that, I'll wait to see how this Ezreal is managing to die every 12 seconds, and it turns out there's a Reaper crawling up his twinkle taint, so we all give him Pepto-Bismol and pat his belly till he shits the demon out, and then we chase him away. Ezreal is off flash bombing into bad bases while whiffing so hard you could turn him into a plastic bat and use him to hit balls with holes in them, so all hands on deck to save him, just for him then to immediately walk away from the team and straight into Captain Jack Sparrow's pistol range. I on the other hand am getting used to why people love playing Gragas right now, because at 3 items I can just walk up to this albino sex dungeon owner and chuck a barrel of Barney guts at him to win. But then I want more, and I just know that Tobias Fate is gonna be rubbing one out in the shrubs, and I can count on my sidekick Ezreal to be as useful as a screen door on a submarine, but it does eventually work out. And I'm not gonna lie, I was actually ready to flame the fuck out of him in this next play, pushing super far up while accomplishing nothing other than getting himself one bard's fart from death, until I realized that my dumbass could have saved him. Oh well, sue me, I guess he would have found a way to die to Gromp anyway, and I was more concerned with picking their support off and then setting up an insane dragon steal. Ellen DeGeneres also had plans to steal it, but those went south when she arrived 4 minutes too late asking if there was still any cake, and I guess having a 14 seconds flash can only get you so far when you've advertised yourself all game as a free kill. But good news for me, this Caitlyn was worth a pretty penny courtesy of the I have a shitter, so now she's worth shutdown system, and I was ready to collect on that. Panbot there's bananas being sent into base because he doesn't want to have the extra weight of having to carry an ult around 10 seconds later when he's running from a weaponized boxing gym locker and that powder sugar covered simp as he earns an elegant 10th death. They are now storming the base like it's Normandy and I'm trying to be Australia and just stay out this bitch, but desperate times call for desperate measures as I divide the enemy lines and then give a Gucci belly flop fuck it hit your bitch and my socks combo on the blitz. They are now on the giant Barney dick that gives out Baron buffs and I know I have to do something to stop it, so I intentionally get pulled on purpose obviously and then start to kite back totally knowing exactly what I'm going to do to not die here until psych Dua Lipa 180 on that bitch for the kill. And then the next time I see that pool day Piltover mall cop bullying my team's moron, I hit her with a quick 1-2 Hagrid belly slap one shot to teach her a lesson. But here's the thing, me and however you want to classify this Ezreal are now stuck alone trying to defend our base, knowing that we are gonna have to work together to survive this. But we did it and it was our turn to go on the offensive. As you can see, Podiatrist Ezreal was leading the efforts mid lane, dishing out just an intimidating amount of damage to anyone who dares look his way like a true Chad. I'm looking to do a little more team deathmatch in the forest while waiting for our super minions to clock into work, and I told Kanye my stomach isn't the place he's gonna wanna be unless he likes swimming in a lot of baked beans, but I know it's just a matter of time before he learns his lesson himself. We're now coming together like a fucked up family in a therapy session, and after 50 minutes of this piss pit of a game, the little fella finally gets his first kill before putting on an absolute clinic in the kiting department that I am sure pro coaches from all regions are going to be studying for years to come as we miraculously pull off the win with this blonde baggage. And that, my friends, is Ezreal Syndrome. Rav out.
I'm in the kitchen, lickety split, mess up the mix, I'm a fuck on your bitch. I'm undercover, under the cover, slapping her butt and it jiggle like flubber. This here is Nina, she know I love her, and if you meet her boy I'll let you hug her.